And it's ready.
Okay, I call the regular session of the mayor and council at 7:03. Ms. Coronado, could you call the roll?
Councilmember Joni Giacomino,
Here.
Councilmember Frank Davis,
Here.
Mayor Ken Budge is excused, Councilmember Leslie Johns.
You're muted.
Is she frozen?
She's
Councilmember
muted.
Leslie Johns is here. She may be frozen. Councilmember Mel Sweet,
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Anna Klein,
Here.
City Staff Stephen Pockins, City Manager Ashley Coronado, City Clerk Carrie Bagley, Finance Director Matthew Gurney, Public Works Director Logan Dodd, Operations Manager Doug Taylor, City Planner Alberti Chavez, Police Chief Jim Richardson, Acting Fire Chief Joe Estes, City Attorney.
Okay, for tonight's invocation, I would like us to remember and send positive thoughts to the family and friends of Brian Chacon. Brian was a student at Ray Borain Middle School and was hit and killed this past Thursday as he was riding his bike to school. Special prayers for his younger brother who witnessed the accident. There was a candlelight vigil this evening at 6:30 on 4th Street and G Avenue, the accident site. I would also like us to keep the first responders in our thoughts as well. You know, they see horrific things. So if we could just take a moment to honor this young life that was taken too soon. Thank you. I don't have any proclamations. The one announcement that I do have is that my laptop died about 45 minutes ago. So I'm trying to work off of my cell phone. I can't see everybody. So Ashley is going to help me see, you know, if you guys have your hands up or whatever, because I can only see her right now. So hopefully this will go as smooth as you know it possibly can. So for call to the public, we have no one signed up, correct?
That's correct.
Okay, so let's move on to general business. Number one is accounts payable. And I would like to move that we pay accounts payable in the amount of $240,480.87, subject to availability of funds. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Thank you, Frank. We have a motion and a second to approve accounts payable. Is there any questions? Hearing none.
You have Mel with questions.
Oh,
Sorry about that.
Okay,
Yeah,
I'm sorry. Okay, go ahead, Mel.
Well, it's not a question in particular, but I would like to know, especially we have a large amount on the merchandise purchases for the, I think for the gift shop at the only thing, maybe Carrie will help me with Steve. I would like to know what kind of mechanism you have. How do you control the purchases? Because this is not an expense versus an income. It's because there's a markup on these. So how do you guys go about controlling the inventory, ensuring that these merchandise are inventory? What kind of system do you have in place to ensure that these are all the merchandise we buy are accounted for? Do we audit this on a monthly basis? I know we have a manager that manages the shop, so he does the purchasing, but what oversight we have on these purchases? Because we have a huge purchase, and I understand that we buy stuff to resell, but I would like to know if you can give me an idea, how do you control the inventory? How do you ensure this inventory are in place and are being sold? And I would like to an idea, and if you cannot do it tonight, maybe I'll stop by and maybe I can ask about those.
Madam Mayor, I can only respond to that by saying it's not a specific question on the accounts payable. I will explain that this time of year when the gem show is in Tucson, or should I say gem shows, because there's a lot of them. That's the optimal time of year to purchase merchandise and get deals for the Queen Mine Tour. Since explaining the inventory program and oversight is not a part of accounts payable, we really shouldn't answer that tonight. And I think Joe Estes would back me up on that. So Mel, we'd be real happy to have you come in when you get a moment and sit with Carrie and I, and we can go over that with you. And we can have Doug in on it too.
Okay,
All right. Thank you.
that's fine. That's fine with me.
Thank you, Mr. Pocken. Are there any other questions?
I don't see anybody raising their hands.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second to accept accounts payable. Can you take the roll, please?
Councilmember Giacobino,
Aye.
Councilmember Davis,
Aye.
Councilmember Johns,
Aye.
Councilmember Sweet,
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Klein.
Aye, motion passes. On to agenda item number 2. We have item A, approval of the minutes of the regular session of mayor and council held on February 1st, 2022. B, approval of the resignation of Linda Santalanes, I hope I pronounce that correctly, from the Design Review Board. Item C, approval of the resignation of Emily Linda Reynolds from the Transit Advisory Committee. D, approval of the appointment of Ed Briggs to the Design Review Board. E, approval of an application for an extension of premises / patio permit submitted by Electric Brewing for an event to be held at 1326 West Highway 92, number 7, on Sunday, March 27th. Item F is the same permit for an event to be held on Sunday, April 10th. Is there anything that anybody would like pulled for discussion?
There's none.
No? Okay, do we have a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented?
I move to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Is there a
I
Second.
second?
second. I second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda, items A through F. Can you take the roll, please?
Councilmember Giacomino. I think you're muted, Joni.
Aye.
Thank you. Councilmember Davis,
Aye.
Councilmember Johns,
Aye.
Councilmember Sweet,
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Klein.
Aye, motion passes unanimously. On to old business. Agenda item 3, we have discussion and possible approval of the notice of intent to adopt ordinance O-22-02, amending the zoning code Article 6 by establishing a new section 6.17 entitled Accessory Dwelling Units, ADU. Mr. Taylor.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. The body of the work was rewritten for clarity. I went over it for clarity and consistency. So there are changes in the written, which you probably have read in your packets. I will point out specifically changes that were made based on feedback from the council on Section B requirements. A minimum rental period that can be no less than 30 days was added. That was at a request. I can go back and read the changes in clarity if you'd like, but I thought I would make it a little shorter if you need. On number 5, there's a change in the date for the amnesty. I gave it an extra month because I figured an extra month would happen here, and that gives them 6 months. The number 6, was deleted, and number 6, if I can tell you what that was there was a sunset of 5 years, that was deleted. And then there was a rewrite of the final paragraph. So there were some rewrites. Some of the wording wasn't consistent, so I fixed that, and I think that I've met all the requirements asked by the council. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Taylor. Does anybody have any questions?
Mr. Davis.
Doug, I think you did a good job cleaning this up. Looks much better than the last time we looked at it. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Anybody else?
Seeing none.
Okay. I also agree with Frank. So do we have a motion?
I would move to approve the notice of intent to adopt ordinance 0-2202, amending the zoning code Article 6 by establishing a new section 6.17 entitled Accessory Dwelling Units, also ADU.
Is there a
I second.
Thank you. It was moved by Mr. Davis and seconded by Mel. Can we have a roll call, please?
Councilmember Giacominno.
Aye.
Councilmember Davis.
Aye.
Councilmember Johns.
Aye.
Councilmember Sweet.
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Klein.
Aye. Motion passes unanimously. On to new business. Agenda item 4 is discussion and possible approval for proposed revision of the traffic control plan by Cochise County between the Ironman and the Bisbee Courthouse. Mr. Gurney.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. Good evening. So tonight we have a Cochise County came to us to propose a new traffic control plan for the area between the Ironman and the Bisbee Courthouse. Maybe everybody probably knows about the congestion that we can get there. This is to the purpose is to help alleviate the traffic congestion between moving traffic and between moving traffic and parked vehicles. This will open up the area to move traffic safer and more efficiently. This will be taken by the county. And I also have some of the different county employees that have did this map that you can see on that came with that. If you want to look at that now, you can see what they proposed to us, and we agreed. We've spoken with the police chief and the fire chief, myself and the city manager. If you have any questions, myself and the Cochise County can answer.
We have Richard Kowalska, Jackie Watkins, and Bobby Coronado also on the meeting.
I've got
Okay.
some questions.
Go ahead, Frank.
It's a little confusing. You know, it looks like a pinball board to me, the way that all the lines on this thing. Now, the way you've got those yellow lines going up by the courthouse, you're coming in by Contessa's and going straight up on the left of the, or I guess it's the right-hand side of the courthouse. And then you got a yellow line going up, coming down Tombstone Canyon, going up the other way. Is that how traffic is going to flow? Is that going to be lined out like that?
Yes, so the traffic that would flow from the Contessa side going up to the right-hand side of the courthouse is does not have a stop sign, that's free flowing. And the other direction, each side does have a stop sign. So they would need to stop and yield to the other traffic.
Why wouldn't it make more sense just to have it come up around Contessa's and not cross that intersection and do the same on the other side? And then you could maybe put some single parking spaces in there.
Madam
Go
Mayor,
ahead, Mr. Falcon.
perhaps Jackie Watkins, the county engineer, is on. Perhaps she could help explain some of that.
Yeah, thank you, Steve. Yeah, Mayor and Council. The county property goes almost up to the Iron Man, and there was just a lot of congestion the way people are parking either to go to the court or to Contessa's.
Right.
That there was so much congestion each side of the Iron Man. And with this, it keeps the flow of traffic going up to the courthouse from Contessa's the way it is, or coming to the stop as a four-way intersection there.
Right.
This will help improve the flow of traffic. It's going to prevent some parking, but there is excess parking that they can do at the lower parking lot at St. Pat's that the county has for court that they could use in the evening for the businesses in that area, because this will prevent some of the parking that they have.
Has this been run by the businesses?
No, this was done, well, unless the city has. I mean, because the county parking, because it's a liability for the county with so much coming and going, with people
Right.
parking there and pedestrians. So it's
Yeah.
a safety issue is why the county is doing it.
I agree. It's a mess and it needs to be addressed. I'm just trying to find the best situation for everyone here. So you're gonna have stop signs. We're coming down Tombstone and we hang a right and we come to that crossroads, there's a stop sign each way there.
Correct. Correct. And that is correct. And that's why we have the hatch mark, so people don't go into that area. Because if you had people go up by Contessa's and just continue up or over by the other side as two roads coming down, people would get more confused on, which way they go, because that's just kind of the flow of going up there.
It's gonna be confusing anyway, I think. But
It will
and
be
those-
confusing at the beginning.
Those lines that you've got lined off, those are no parking zones
Correct.
everywhere. You got the white lines there. Okay,
That is correct.
all right.
Jackie? So
Yes.
basically what you're doing is you're just putting the road back to the way it was like when we grew up here, where it was open and the traffic had a nice flow right there. And so it takes away all that parking that everybody just decided to take it upon themselves to start parking there, correct?
Correct. It's about like it was
Okay.
right when we were kids.
You have
Just a few
Joni.
years ago. Joni, go ahead.
Well, I'm kind of piggybacking off of kind of what Frank said and Anna, but this is my main
Yeah,
question.
Johnny can go.
The white line, well, Ashley told me, sorry, should I not have gone?
No, go ahead.
My concern is this, I understand the white lines mean no parking, right?
Correct.
As I drive up and down Tombstone Canyon, I see these same white lines with people parking. What's gonna keep that from happening again? And this is a problem, and this is what's kind of started this whole mess. With these people just, well, I'm gonna park wherever I feel like. And they're generally not from here that are doing it. And people just randomly park. How are we gonna enforce this? I guess is my question. I mean, the layout's fine. It reminds me of, when we were younger and it worked then. But that whole random parking, I do what I want to do because I am.
Oh, we would install no parking signs.
Mhm,
We could even paint no parking on the asphalt. And the
right.
lines being hatched indicates no parking. And on the bottom of the signs installed, violators will be towed. And then it would be enforcement from the police department to start issuing tickets.
Okay, so I guess that's my question. Is that gonna happen? That's is it gonna be the police department? Is it gonna be the sheriff's department? Or is it gonna be the state troopers? Who's gonna be the ones that enforce it? Because I
Well,
mean, I think it's a great design. My concern is just those people that do what they want to do.
Chief Chave, can you weigh in on this?
Yes, good evening. Yes, the police department would enforce those parking violations with a citation if somebody was to park on those in those areas. And that's this puts it back and opens that flow up to a much safer the way it was just 10 to 15 years ago. That's exactly how this traffic plan was. It wasn't as pretty as it's going to be now. We didn't have the lines to tell everybody which way to go, but so this is going to clean it up quite a bit, I think. And I think once the stripes are on the ground, the people who have been parking between the courthouse and the Ironman will see that it is now a roadway, where today with no markings, you can't tell where the road starts or where it ends. And you have RVs parked behind the Ironman that are not, unintentionally blocking off the access up to St. Pat. So I really do think that this will be a safer and cleaner flowing traffic control plan once this is implemented. There will be some confusion at first, but I think as time goes on, this will be much better.
Thank you, Chief. Mel, did you have a question?
I think the question was asked by Joni, but the only other maybe comment I will be making is how will this affect parking overall? I mean, will this create other situation for parking? This is going to eliminate. I know it was wrong, but it's going to eliminate some parking spaces. What's going to happen to that? What's going to happen to the where will the, where's the alternative? We already have problems with parking, enough parking places. So is this going to hurt the businesses in that area? And what other maybe alternative areas where potential visitors or people who come up there will they park? So it's gonna, I think it's gonna create some situation for some of the businesses up there.
Go ahead, Mr. Gurney.
Thank you. I have a couple comments for that. Just across the street where we changed the direction and the intersection coming from Clawson, doing that allowed us, which we haven't put the actual stripes in on the road as of now. That's something that we can do. But when we did that, we added about 3, maybe 4 parking spaces there that we didn't have before because of line of sight. And then I believe Jackie Watkins can back this up. I believe the church, and she mentioned this, church did say that they were opening up their parking for people that are coming for the courthouse and stuff. Is that true, Jackie?
Yeah, the county has leased that property, and we installed a sign yesterday. It was supposed to have been installed yesterday that says, court and overflow parking up to the lower parking lot. And if it's on the weekend, the area between the courthouse and like the attorney's offices up there and the church, up above, I mean, that area there can be used for parking also, because the county vehicles will be parked in the upper parking lot of the church.
That's good. Okay, that's great. That's good.
Sounds good.
Thank you, Jackie.
Thank you.
Does anybody else have any more questions?
I see none.
Okay, I think this is a great idea, and it's much safer. And yes, parking has always been an issue, but somehow when we're up there, we managed to find parking someplace. So with that, do we have a motion?
I need to go there.
I move
Four.
to approve
I
the
move-
proposed revision of traffic control plan between the Ironman and the Bisbee Courthouse.
I'll second
you.
that.
Thank you, Leslie, and seconded by Frank. Can we have a roll call, please?
Councilmember Giacomino,
Aye.
Councilmember Davis,
Aye.
Councilmember Johns,
Aye.
Councilmember Sweet,
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Klein.
Aye, motion passes unanimously. Thank you, everybody. And I guess I should have mentioned this at the beginning of the meeting, and just with losing my laptop, things are a little frantic here. But I'm going to pull items 5, 6, 7, and 8 off the agenda. And we will move on to agenda item number 9. And that's just, let's see. Discussion and possible approval to enter into a contract with Old Bisbee Enterprises to manufacture and install a 4th rail on the Copper Queen Library's 2nd and 3rd floor balconies in the amount of $11,400. Jason, are you here?
I am. Good evening, Mayor and Council. So yes, this evening I'm bringing to you a contract for your approval. It's from Old Bisbee Enterprises. And it is to manufacture and install a fourth rail on the library's second and third floor balconies. And just a little background information. The library did receive a grant from Freeport-McMoran for $70,000 to do necessary work on the library's balconies to make them safe for public use. And we're going off of our building structural report that was done by Poster, Murtaugh, and McDonald. That was done back in May of 2021. And one of their recommendations was to install a fourth rail so that the height of that railing would be brought up to meet today's code, which is 42 inches. And I did take this to the design review board that was back in November of 2021. And they did approve the plan. And we did post a request for bid on the city's website for the 14 days, and Old Bisbee Enterprises was the only bid that we received.
Okay, does anybody have any questions?
Looks good.
Frank?
No, it looks good. Looks good. to me.
Okay,
And I would make a motion. I move to enter into a contract with Old Bisbee Enterprises to manufacture and install fourth rail on Copper Queen Library's second and third floor balconies for $11,400.
is there a second?
I second.
We have a motion and a second to approve entering into a contract with Old Bisbee Enterprises to manufacture and install the fourth rail on the second and third floor balconies. The only question I have for Jason is, now will this complete the project?
No, so there's a couple more things that we want to do with the grant money, and that's once the railing is completed, we want to have someone look at some of the cracking that's going on in on the surface, the outside of the building, the concrete, and then we would epoxy seal the balcony floors to keep any moisture from coming back on.
Okay, thank you, Jason. So it's been moved and seconded. Can we have a roll call, please?
Yes, Councilmember Giacomino,
You're muted.
there she goes, okay. Councilmember Davis,
Aye.
Councilmember Johns,
Aye.
Councilmember Sweet,
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Klein.
Aye, motion passes unanimously. On to agenda item 10.
We have a couple questions, Mayor, I'm sorry. A couple of our attendees were wondering what pulling the items mean. So we just kind of need to touch on that real quick. They were here for the public auctions. So they are going to be pulled until we can renotice them and then put them up on a future agenda, just so it's clear.
Madam Mayor, just to be clear, because I did just answer the one who asked the question in
Thank you.
chat. We are planning to move all 4 items, including the 3 public auctions, and that 4th item will be placed on the March 1st council agenda. So, sorry for the delay, but quite frankly, we didn't believe that we could truly have a public auction if the entire public did not have access into the Zoom meeting without going through significant hoops. And I didn't think there was a good way to do that. So I think it's better to, next meeting, when we go back to in-person meetings, then we can have a true public auction.
Thank you, Mr. Pocken. Thank you for explaining that. And we look forward to going back in person. At least I do. Okay, so is everybody okay with that explanation? Bless you.
We're good.
Okay, so let's move on to agenda item 10, and that's discussion and possible approval of resolution R-22-03, amending the finance section of the fee schedule by adding mobile food vendor fees to the city fee schedule. Mr. Taylor.
Thank you. I will read the resolution if that's okay with you. A resolution of the mayor and council of the city of Bisbee, county of Cochise, state of Arizona, amending the finance section of the fee section by adding mobile food vendor fees to the city fee schedule. Whereas the city adopted a fee schedule on April 14th, 2020 for the purpose of setting forth the comprehensive fees assessed and collected by the city for the range of applications, permits, licenses, services, and activities. And whereas the fee schedule sets forth the cost of all services provided to the citizens and businesses of the city of Bisbee, Arizona, and whereas the city council of the city of Bisbee considers it reasonable to amend said fee schedule periodically by resolution to reflect costs of providing services, and now therefore be it resolved, the mayor and council of the city of Bisbee amend the city fee schedule as follows. Mobile food vendor fees. Application fee, $250. Permit first year license payable at the time of application approval, $30. Annual renewal, $30. Temporary business license, maximum of 3 days, $20 per day, and a late renewal, which is a penalty not a penalty if not submitted 60 days prior to the expiration of the license, $30. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Taylor. Does anybody have any questions?
You have Councilmember Giacomino.
Go ahead.
First question is where the $250 application fee was originated from.
I think it was a comparison of former or not of other food vendor programs. I think primarily Tucson was looked at. This was actually set before my time, but that is my understanding.
Okay, so did anybody, do you understand if anybody looked at Patagonia or places that are more our size? Because that's an awfully steep application fee.
And I believe that Patagonia was not looked at, I believe.
Yeah.
I didn't hear of it if it was.
My second question is, if you're only going to do a temporary business license with a maximum of 3 days, do you still have to do the $250 fee?
My understanding is that that would be a supplement for the fee. So it wouldn't, the fee would not take place unless you were, the cost of the fee would not, for the application fee would not be used unless you were using the license for more than 3 days. The intention of the temporary business license is for someone who comes for the one of the festivals, Pride or something like that, and is only going to be here 2 or 3 days selling, and that would be their business license fee.
So then they would not be charged the $250 is what you're saying.
Correct. And people who are at events sponsored by the city on city property would not either.
Okay, so my other question is the late renewal penalty if not submitted 60 days prior. What if I had the application fee, I'm expiring and I don't want to, I'm not going to renew. Am I going to get hit with a late fee anyway? Because the reason I asked this is this has happened to me before vending with the county years back. Go ahead.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. No, you go ahead.
Back, I didn't renew because I wasn't going to vend anymore. And I kept getting these bills, $50, and they kept piling up. And I was like, okay, what the heck? So is there going to be a required notification or the assumption that since they're not?
Well, the intention of that is if they renew, but did it late, they would be fined $30. It's not a recurring fee, and it would only be if they're going to pull a license. Let's say if they move away, they're not going to keep getting billed for $30 every time that, you know, it'll be a fee that is in addition to the $250 if they intend to stay licensed.
I just want to express my concern about the application fee. I just think that's very high for our town. A lot of our vendors aren't people that are making a lot of money. I just think that application fee needs to be relooked at. That's just my opinion, being a past vendor. A lot of people vend for different reasons. There's a lot of vending out there for project graduation, for kids' trips. And for that high of a fee, that's just really, really steep to me. That's just my personal opinion.
I do know that the intention for that category of expense was because the building inspector has to inspect the vehicle. I don't know if there's fees from the county, but the county health department has to inspect, the fire department has to inspect, and it also is monitored by police on a as need and you know, eyes on daily. You know, they're vending in a public place, so that would be part of the police coverage.
I still think it's too high, but that's my opinion anyway.
Okay,
That's all.
thank
Thank
you.
Okay. Mr. Solid Mel has a question.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead, Mel.
Yeah. When you say mobile food vendors, when you say 250, for what period the 250? Is it a yearly fee? It's one-time fee? Can you explain that to us? What's the 250?
It's a yearly fee. A one-time fee, let's say they're doing a 3-day event and they came down from Tucson, that business license would be $20.
Okay. So let's say if I'm just doing, Johnny, if I'm just going out, I'm doing a 3 days event. That's all. No, I'm not here for the whole year. Do I still have to pay the $250?
No, I guess I didn't make it clear before.
No.
It would just be the $20.
Oh, okay. Thanks.
Okay,
So this is permanent, just to clarify it, conclude this, the 250, if I'm going to be here, I'm going to be doing this year long, it's for the entire year. But
yes.
I'm just here for a few days. Then, okay.
Yes.
All right. Okay. Clear.
Okay, does anybody else have any more questions?
I see none.
Okay, do we have a motion?
I can do it.
Okay.
Okay, let me just get to the page. Okay, I move to approve resolution R22-03, amending the finance section of the fee schedule by adding mobile food vendor fees to the city fee schedule.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Moved by Mel and seconded by Frank. Can we have a roll call, please?
Councilmember Giacomino,
Hey,
Councilmember Davis,
Aye.
Councilmember Johns,
Aye.
Councilmember Sweet,
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Klein,
Aye. Motion passes 5-1, 4-1. Okay, let's move on to agenda item 11. And what we have here is discussion and possible approval of resolution R-22-01 supporting the Bisbee Bus Transit Program and the application for funds to operate the Bisbee Transit Bus System. Mr. Gurney.
Thank you. So yeah, we have again, like we do each year, city applies for funds from ADOT for its share of federal funds used to operate the Bisbee Bus Transit Program. This program provides transportation via a flex route system through the Bisbee and Naco 6 days a week. In order to apply for the funds, City Council must provide documentation of its support for the program annually and authorize the mayor to sign. So this is pretty much allowing us to resolution to go and apply for the grant. And I believe you have the resolution R-22-01. If there's any questions, excuse me.
Madam Mayor,
Go ahead.
just to clarify a little bit, I was going through my packet this afternoon and I noticed that I didn't sign this one because somehow it slipped through the cracks, I guess. But obviously this is an annual renewal. We do this every year. But one thing I wanted to point out is that the program we're applying for is $809,000. And of that $809,000, excuse me, there is a local match. The local match is $264,000, and I rounded to the nearest thousand. And that's typical of how the grant program works every single year. So what we'll actually be getting in federal money to run the program will be about $543,000. And then we will match that with $264,000 for a total amount to run the system of $809,000.
Thank you, Mr. Pocken. Does anybody have any questions? No?
I see none.
Okay. Do we have a motion?
I move to approve resolution R-22-01 in support of the Bisbee Bus Transit Program and its continued administration and operation with various grant applications to the Arizona Department of Transportation, accepting grant funding and providing match if awarded, and authorizing the mayor to sign all applications and grant contracts.
Second.
Is there a second? Thank you. Moved by Frank and seconded by Leslie. Can we have a roll call, please?
Councilmember Giacominno.
Aye.
Councilmember Davis.
Aye.
Councilmember Johns.
Aye.
Councilmember Sweet.
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Klein.
Aye. Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you.
On to item number 12, City Manager's Report.
Thank you, Mayor, and good evening again, everyone. I'll be brief this evening. I did want to explain, excuse me, item number 8 was delayed until March 1st. Mignon Hollis, who many of you know, was to be the presenter for tonight, and she called in this afternoon and wasn't able to due to illness, and so we gave it a pass for until the March 1st meeting. So I'm hoping that moving all this stuff to March 1st doesn't make March 1st extra long, but I thought we only had 1 or 2 other items on the agenda at that point. So anyway, that's the reason that that item was delayed. Just a brief update on negotiations with the potential buyer for the Hillcrest. Mr. Estes, the mayor, and I were on the phone with the potential buyer group this morning. There's a couple of items concerning the terms of payment for the property that in their bid were not satisfactory to the city. We had a pretty thorough conversation with them about a whole bunch of things concerning the project and its benefit to the city and how much liability the city was willing to assume in the process of transferring the property over to new owners. And so they have a deadline to apply for federal tax credits on April 1st. And so we're planning to have this on the agenda for you to consider on March 1st, because after that, they're going to run out of time and won't be able to get their tax credits to do their project. So we're down in crunch time at this point, and I think both sides completely understand where the other side is coming from. It's been a process that has gone collegially, and I think that we'll be able to come back to you on March 1st with a bid that you will be able to consider and approve. So there's that. And that is my report for tonight, Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Pocken. And let's see, our amended agenda, we have an item 13, and that is to enter into executive session. Do I have a motion?
I move we go into executive session.
Is there a second?
I second.
All in favor of going into executive signify with an aye.
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 Opposed? The ayes
Everybody,
have it.
everybody should have a Zoom link in their inbox for executive.
Okay. Thank you, Ashley. We'll
Mhm.
see you in executive.
See you there.
See you there.